EDIFICE is a trademark process we have created that guides you through how to tackle a project. Because if you don't follow a process, you end up with problems. EDIFICE has been born out of our many years of experience and is a tried and tested method that follows a common sense, logical approach. Whether you're doing a new build or a retrofit, it provides the foresight and understanding needed to ensure that every stage is successful. E is for engagement. This is where we take the time to find out exactly what it is you are looking to achieve, where we establish your goals and aims. That could be looking at your electricity, gas, water consumption, or heat loss. Working on your energy reduction, carbon reduction, fabric efficiency, or air permeability targets. It's this engagement that will define the scope of what's involved and what will ultimately shape the project brief. D is for design. This is where we detail the project deliverables. It could be all we are looking to replace are the windows, insulating the walls, changing the heating. But it could be something far more involved and complex. This stage of the process can be as big or as small as is required in order to meet your goals. There is a relationship between engagement and design. We can establish the goals, but during the design stage, it could become apparent that some things just aren't feasible. So we would go back to the engagement stage and may need to reevaluate some of those goals. I is for investment. What's your budget? Is this project viable? It's this stage that defines if we need to revisit the design and rescope to fit within the budget, or whether more funding is required so that your goals can be achieved. For some clients, the return on investment or payback period will be a consideration. For others, not so important. Either way, we will explore this and provide the necessary calculations to aid decision making. There is a relationship between engagement, design, and investment. If sufficient funds are not available, we would need to go back and look again at the goals and how the design could be tweaked in order to fit within the budget. It's not necessarily a straight line journey, but it's a critical part of it. F is for framework. This stage is about understanding how the project will be delivered. It could be just one main contractor undertakes all of the work, or it might be that we are looking at using a number of specialists for specific elements of the project. It's also at this stage that we look at what kind of contract we put them under and whether you would like us to take care of the project management or if this is something that you're going to do yourself. I is for implementation. Is planning required? What regulations need to be considered? All of that is taken care of at this stage, along with preparing the site. Essentially, this stage is about understanding what needs to be done and cracking on with the work. This can be the longest timeline depending on the type of project that is being undertaken. If we are project managing the work, we'll hold regular meetings, site inspections, essentially taking responsibility for the project and ensuring that nothing in this phase will jeopardize the targets that we set out at the start. C is for completion and handover. It's exactly what it says really. This is where we do all the final checks and the snagging, where we make sure all the documents are in place and ultimately hand over the finished project to our client. We will know that completion is coming up, so planning for this would have begun during the implementation phase. This isn't necessarily the end of our involvement. We will start to prepare for the next phase, where we evaluate the project. E is for evaluation. This is not only evaluating if everything has been done according to the plan, it's so much more than that. It's about measuring and reviewing if all the project goals have been met or even exceeded. Has the project achieved the client's objectives? How have we performed? Can we learn anything from this project to improve upon the next? There will be elements of this project that can be evaluated immediately, but some will need to be reviewed over the following 12 months. For instance, if the target was to reduce the energy demand by, say, 50% or improve comfort levels, we need to capture this data over the next 4 seasons. It's about us taking responsibility for the design and implementation. So these final 4 stages are also interconnected and closely related. Changes and alterations made to any of these phases may ultimately jeopardize the goals. The entire EDIFICE process is like a golden thread that runs throughout a project. It is the glue that knits the whole thing together. And it's having that understanding of the relationship between each phase and how they impact each other that will ultimately define the success of a project.